Hi there, my name's Brandon Catlett. We're going to be telling you about the Dart programming language today. First thing I'd like to speak about is why we decided to choose the Dart programming language. One of the main reasons was because it's a new language, and that's kind of exciting. It's just something that maybe hasn't been brought to its fullest potential yet, and that's one of the main reasons we chose it. Also, it's a language that was developed by Google. Google's always been innovating ever since they hit the field. So we're really interested to see what the Dart programming language had to offer. I'll be doing the first half of the presentation, and the other half will be done by Josh Hendricks. The parts I'll be going over are some of the basic features of Dart, as well as the history, and a quick Hello World tutorial. Some more basic things about Dart. It was made for mobile and web applications. A lot of people think of it as Java 2.0. It's very similar to Java and is designed for a lot of the same purposes. So moving on to basic features, first thing I'd like to talk about is the language is multi-paradigm, which in a nutshell means it has more than one paradigm, more than one style of programming. So it covers scripting, object-oriented, imperative, and functional. So as far as that regard goes, it's able to do a lot of diverse things. Moving on to data types. A lot of these data types are exactly what you would see in any Java or C++ language. There are some notable differences. However, numbers are pretty much the same. You got your classic ints and doubles. Strings are a little different, and as you can see here, they can be done with they can be done with either single quotes or double quotes. The interesting thing about Booleans is, unlike other languages, the default value is true, and only the value true is accepted as true. And any other value you put in there, like even if it's true 1, was considered false. Lists in Dart are your basic arrays. There's not really a lot to say about those. Maps are unique, and they're a built-in data type of Dart. A lot of other languages, you have to add them in a library. Moving on to control flow. The control flow is just like the data types, most of them really similar to what you'd see in a C++ or a Java program, with the exception of assert. Assert's pretty neat. It allows you to do some error checking, basically on the spot, pretty simply too. You have your example right here. Keep clicking it. So if the value inside the parameter is false, it throws an exception. So if this number here is, let's say, 101, your program won't run. It'll throw an exception, and that's really good for just some quick on-the-spot error checking. All right, moving on to object orientation. Just like Java, it's very much at its core an object-oriented programming language, where every object is an instance of some class. What makes it unique to Java is it has a mixin-based inheritance, which in a nutshell means that every class has exactly one superclass, but a class body can be used in multiple class hierarchies. One thing to note too is when you're creating an object, you do it very similar to the way you would in another language, where you use the new keyword, just like in the example here in the slide. Alright, we're also going to speak about the history of the Dart language. Now, its history isn't very deep. Like we said, it's approximately 4 years old. It hasn't been around for a whole long time. It actually appeared at a Go-To conference in Denmark in 2011. Is whenever it very first appeared. So it has not been around very long at all. Like we said earlier, it was built for mobile web app development. And that's pretty much its main purpose. Alright. Now, in the tutorial section, first thing we're going to talk about is if you want to get started writing in Dart, it's really simple. One of the easier ways to do it is to head over to dartlang.org. They have tutorials. They have everything you would need to get started, including something called a Dartpad, which the link to that Dartpad is in the slide. And basically, it's just a browser-based IDE, and it allows you to run code from there. If you want more in-depth developer tools, you can go to their website and download them for free. It's very accessible. And when you're writing a program in a new language for the first time, I always suggest writing a Hello World program. The one you see here in the slide is a very basic Hello World program with just a little bit added more to it, just to show you something a little different that Dart does. Now here you see the main and the for loop are exactly what you'd see in any other language that you're used to developing in. But what is interesting and I think is very cool is you're printing Hello World, and instead of printing $, open, close, squiggly, I+1 afterwards, the $, actually goes and takes the variable, or in this case the expression that follows after it, and gets the value from it. So what you would have there is an output that looks something like this. You can see it says Hello World, and then all the way up to 5. As you can see here, our for loop goes up to 5. If we had made our for loop go to 10, then it would output 10 times, saying Hello World all the way 1 through 10. Alright, that's all I have for you. We'll be moving on to Josh now.